Previously on the Tesla documentary series.
Short sellers taking an aggressively negative stance on Tesla. And Tesla's short interest is 48% of the Tesla float. Compare that to the S&P's 3.3%. This makes it one of the most hated stocks on Wall Street. Nearly every other share outstanding bet against Tesla.
I think it's very unwise to be shorting Tesla. There's a tsunami of hurt coming for those holding a short position. Okay. It's going to be very, very unpleasant. I advise people to exit while there is time.
On February the 8th, a news article titled "Stalled Out on Tesla's Electric Highway" is published by the New York Times, depicting the Model S out of charge and on a flatbed truck. The reporter John Border claimed he followed Tesla's instructions, charging the vehicle as directed, and still ran out of charge in cold weather. What the New York Times didn't know was that a logging device in the reporter's car was turned on and monitoring every detail of the test drive, and soon after, Tesla released the data from the reporter's vehicle.
The thing that really I thought was wrong was we're looking at the data from this test drive, and it doesn't correlate at all to the article that was written. And the result was that the car ran out of range.
It had to be towed.
Yeah, exactly. And so there was this sad shot of our car on a flatbed, as though that was the only outcome possible for such a drive. And that's just not true. And lots of people said, oh, you know, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, you don't battle the New York Times. And it's like, the hell with that. I'd rather tell the truth and suffer the consequences, even if they're negative. I don't think it should be the end of his career. I don't even think necessarily he should be fired. But I do think he fudged an article.
As the Model S started production, there were multiple issues that needed to be resolved. The first was some suppliers weren't taking Tesla seriously enough.
They just didn't believe that we'd do these numbers, so they didn't tool up for this level of production, because their own internal predictions were that we would do, in some cases, 3,000 over the entire lifetime of the product. So they sort of come to believe that these projections are real, then they actually tool up and are able to deliver significant cost savings for part supply.
Then there were mistakes that were made early on in the days of production.
Another thing that we had to do that was really inefficient in the fourth quarter was we had to fly a lot of stuff. And when you fly something, it can cost as much as 10 times what it costs to ship it by sea or rail or truck, particularly if it's heavy. So we had to do some pretty dumb things like fly tires from the Czech Republic. I kid you not, I want to punch myself in the face for that one. We were 30-day payment terms with them, and when they were shipping the tires, it actually took longer than 30 days to get to us. So the tires would get to us and would be past due. So that happened a number of months, and then they put a hold on the shipments because we hadn't paid on time, even though we weren't getting the tires before we were getting the bill. Anyways, that was just a big desperate way to fly a bunch of tires from the Czech Republic to keep production going. That gives you one extreme example of how logistics can go bonkers.
And there were quality issues that needed to be resolved.
You know, we've got quite a fancy door handle, and occasionally the sensor would malfunction on the door handle, so you'd pull on the door handle and it wouldn't open. We've addressed that at root cause. Essentially, the door handle incidents have gone to virtually zero since we introduced the kind of new version of the door handle. You know, for the fleet that's on the road, we're kind of fixing the door handles, which in a lot of cases just can be done with a remote firmware update.
Another issue that came up early on was
we've actually ironically had an issue with the 12-volt lead-acid auxiliary battery that we bought from quite a reputable supplier, American company, who then outsourced it to China, who then outsourced it to Vietnam. And so we thought we were getting, fairly good battery, but, by the time it had been outsourced to multiple levels, it turned out to be not so great. A number of those batteries have had a much shorter life than expected, so that's caused some customer unhappiness. We've since implemented much better screening of the battery pack and now have a substantially improved pack going into cars.
On February the 20th, Tesla reported Q4 2012 earnings, and revenue was up six-fold over the previous quarter as Model S sales started bringing in much-needed cash. Tesla posted a $90 million net loss, which was smaller than the previous two quarters, and cash on hand was approximately $221 million. Tesla also reported approximately 2,400 Model S deliveries during the quarter. So while the announcement seems to be a positive, and the stock price was up at all-time highs, there was a much more serious issue going on in the background. As mentioned before, complaints about defects and reliability really became talking points on message boards, while service centers were totally unprepared for the number of cars that needed repairs so early on. Many reservation holders, concerned with what was happening, held off from buying, which meant less cars being produced and sold. According to Ashley Vance, who wrote the book Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, and the Quest for a Fantastic Future, it was noted that things got so bad that Elon Musk was unsure if Tesla would be able to survive the next few weeks as cash started to run dangerously low. Concerned with the situation, in early April, Elon Musk reached out to Larry Page from Google to discuss the potential of Google buying out Tesla Motors for $6 billion and make Elon Musk in charge for 8 years to ensure he could see his plans through. It was reported that Elon Musk and Larry Page had a handshake agreement for the deal. However, Elon Musk was not ready to throw in the towel just yet and immediately requested staff from all departments to start calling reservation holders and close sales. To get a sense of how well these issues were kept from the public, consider this: during one of Tesla's hardest times, the stock rallied, reaching a high of $62 before pulling back to $58 just prior to earnings. It was also worth noting that Tesla was one of the most shorted stocks, with a percentage float shares ranging from 42 to 59%. On the 8th of May, Tesla reported Q1 2013 earnings and a miracle happened. Tesla announced that it had recorded an $11 million profit. Revenue came in at $562 million, while cash on hand was at $231 million, and that they delivered 4,900 Model S vehicles. The stock rose 24% in value the day after earnings, and then doubled in value, reaching the $100 mark over the next month. Short sellers didn't know what hit them and lost billions during that period.
There's a tsunami of hurt coming for the short, those holding a short position.
Okay.
It's going to be very, very unpleasant. I advise people to exit while there is time.
Short interest fell significantly from the end of March to the end of May, going down from 50 to 29%. But most importantly, Tesla was safe, and on the 15th of May announced that they were raising about $1 billion through offerings of common stock and convertible senior notes, in which Elon purchased $100 million worth of stock.
They issue stock last night, and the CEO buys a ton of it.
Right.
So,
Elon Musk bought $100 million
Right. I mean,
worth of his own stock. That's amazing. You called it a cult stock last week.
Yes.
So
I said stay away from, don't short cold stocks. You can't.
okay, well, and the shorts are down. They had been at 30 million. Now we're at 27 million on the shorts. So,
But, look, I mean, I want to buy one. I want to buy one.
you wanted to buy one, but they told you you had to wait 9 months.
But
and
not
you
anymore.
said-
Now it's a 3-month wait. Some people say only a month wait for certain models, and I'm going to be test driving one.
As the stock rallied, the bulls and bears continued to battle.
$13 billion. That is Tesla Motors' total market value after rocketing up by $13 yesterday, above $100 a share, making it worth more than companies like Netflix, for instance, or even Fiat. So does the electric car maker really merit this valuation? Well, Andrea James is the senior research analyst at Doherty & Company, a bull on the shares with a buy rating, and fund manager Mark Travis of Intrepid Capital Management, who had shorted the stock. Short covering going on here.
I think that when you've got a third of the shares sold short, it doesn't take much activity on the ask side of the shares before people decide they want to cover. And this may be one of the best short covering rallies of all time.
And Mark, you got to drive the car.
I understand. I just don't know where I'm going to plug it in, Andrea.
Well, Elon says he
Maybe
has
around
a solution.
maybe around Silicon Valley you can do that kind of thing, but in Northeast Florida there's absolutely no place to charge a Tesla that I'm aware of.
Oh, there's plenty of places to charge it in Florida. Public charging stations. Tesla will be building charging stations. But the best place is your own garage.
But but Andrea, let me just.
It'll bring down my grid.
Let me just point this out, though, because we were looking at shares of, we were looking at the at some of the numbers around Tesla. Andrea, it's at 1,100 times PE. That is, I mean, that's astronomical. How can that be justified?
Yep. So in 2010,
Musical
2011, Wait. In 2010, 2011, Tesla was trading at what the company could do in the future. So it's trading on potential earnings. If they max out the factory, 500,000 vehicles a year, it's a $300 stock. Okay, so Tesla's trading on what they can do in the future. And they've got a factory that can do about $20 billion in revenue, about $2 billion in net income, assuming a 10% NOPAT. And that's about $14 to $15 a share. So there's still room for it to go.
Well, Mark?
Andrea, I have some swamp in Florida I want to sell you.
You gotta drive the car.
One thing Tesla was still facing criticism over was the fact that they still had a government loan.
Now, where's the money going to come from? Well, it's going to come from you and me. Tesla's received a $465 million loan from the Department of Energy. Now, that money is to be spent developing the next Tesla.
Why do you need a government loan? You have so much money. The cars are so expensive.
Sure.
Why do you need taxpayer dollars?
Let's get to Tesla Motors, talking about profits, surprising shareholders by paying off a startup loan from the Department of Energy 9 years early. Short time ago, I asked Elon Musk, Tesla co-founder, chairman, and CEO, how he felt about paying that government loan off early.
Well, it really felt like a great relief, as though there was a big weight off my chest and really off of Tesla as a whole, because we did receive quite a bit of criticism for the loan, and clearly that is something that matters to people out there. On a strict economics basis, it didn't actually make sense for us to pay off the loan because we had really low-cost government debt. But I'm making a bet essentially that this is going to matter to enough consumers out there that perhaps will make up for it in sales.
When we last spoke I want to say in person in Fremont, California at the Tesla plant, you said, in response to my question about Tesla being one of the most shorted stocks around, you said, really, at your own peril, should you be shorting the stock. Since then, the stock has skyrocketed more than 150%. Year over year, it's up more than 180%. What do you say to the shorts now? Because there's still a 30+% float of the shorts floated at this point.
Right. I think it was interesting when we had that discussion when we were walking through the plant last year, and I think people took that as some sort of bravado or I don't know what, but it actually, I think, caused the short interest to increase. But I'm not really someone who bluffs, so it's not. I'm really just saying, like, hey, you know, if someone says there's a freight train heading in your direction, you should at least look down and see if you're on the tracks.
Congratulations on paying off the loan, Elon Musk of Tesla. Thank you so much.
So what a start to 2013. Tesla cheats death and sees their valuation increase threefold to the dismay of the short sellers. But Tesla is far from safe. In the next episode, multiple Model S vehicles catch fire, which put Tesla into major damage control. Thank you to all the Patreons that support the channel, along with Bradford Ferguson from Holter Ferguson Financial. And remember, all content is opinion only and not financial advice. So till next time, I'll catch you guys soon.